Oh, I know that sound. It's time for the Beer and News Report. Hi, and welcome to the Beer and News Report. Cheers. Today, I'm drinking Jaws. It's a lager, it's a rice lager from Brewgy West, and it tastes great. I'm giving this thing 5 stars. Plus the can looks really cool, right? It's refreshing, it's light, it's really crisp, so I think you should give it a try. All right, cheers. The U.S. gets its power from a variety of sources: coal, natural gas, wind, solar, hydro, and yes, nuclear, just to name a few. The first nuclear power plant was built in 1958, and we continued constructing them till about 1990. So why did we stop? Why are we starting to build them again? And has nuclear power technology improved over time? Where would new plants be built? That's what we're going to talk about today, so sit back, grab a beer, and get ready. We're going atomic. Yeah, cheers. As you can see from this chart, the U.S. started building nuclear power plants in the 1970s and slowed down drastically around 1990. Why the sudden drop? In 1979, a movie called The China Syndrome hit the theaters. It was about a nuclear power plant experiencing a catastrophic meltdown. People dismissed it as fiction until real life caught up. Less than a year later, the 3 Mile Island accident happened, and the public opinion turned against nuclear power overnight. In case you don't know, the 3 Mile Island accident was a partial meltdown of the Unit 2 reactor at the 3 Mile Island Nuclear Generating Station. It occurred on the Susquehanna River in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on March 28, 1979. The accident released radioactive gases and iodine into the environment, making it the worst U.S. disaster in nuclear history. Suddenly, supporting nuclear power was political suicide, even though it was still producing a significant portion of the nation's energy, as this chart shows. So if nuclear power had such a bad reputation, why the sudden change of heart? Well, for several reasons. First, we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint, which means replacing coal power plants with a cleaner alternative. Yes, I know President Trump touted clean coal, but let's be real. Coal is the dirtiest energy that we have. Just because you call it clean doesn't mean it's the best. Yeah, cheers. But reducing our carbon footprint hasn't meant a shift to nuclear, at least not yet. Most of the changes come from switching coal to natural gas, as you can see from this chart. Next, let's talk about the lifespan of nuclear power plants. Most were designed to last 40 years. Since some were built in the 1970s, they're reaching the end of their expected lifespan. Over the next 20 years, the rest will follow. That means 20% of our power generation will either need to be replaced with new nuclear power plants or something entirely different. Many people think that solar and wind can fill the gap, but those sources aren't always consistent. However, new battery storage technology is improving their reliability. Then there's the issue of future energy demand. Take a look at this chart predicting U.S. power consumption over the next 20 years. Energy is expected to increase by 40% in that time. Why so much growth? Well, that's what we're about to talk about. Cheers. It's not because people are switching from gas power to electric vehicles, although that will contribute to the power consumption. The real driver of energy demand is artificial intelligence, otherwise known as AI. You've probably seen or heard of AI search engines like ChatGPT or Perplexity, Google's Gemini, or Microsoft's Copilot. AI search requires 10 times more energy than traditional search engines like Google, Yahoo, or Bing. As AI usage increases, not just for searches, but for writing, image generation, and more, energy consumption skyrockets. For example, when ChatGPT first came out, I used it to write a resignation letter. I was a commissioner on a city board that switched back to in-person meetings, and honestly, I wasn't about to give up my recliner for that. I'm sure you can understand, but Elon Musk? Probably not. But that's another story. Yeah, cheers. AI engines can proofread scripts, generate images, compose music. It's a whole new world, and it's coming with a ton of energy. Just look at what big companies are investing in. Meta, aka Facebook, is looking into building its own nuclear power plant to power AI operations. Amazon, Google, Microsoft are exploring similar options. But why are they doing it? AI is a new technology that's being compared to the internet and the computer craze of the 1990s. Microsoft went from under $10 a share to over $50 a share. That's a five-fold growth just in the 90s. The U.S. GDP grew from $5.5 trillion to $9.8 trillion in the 90s. It doubled. Now our current GDP is $27 trillion. So if AI can make it double again, then AI is worth $27 trillion. And that is why all the high-tech companies are trying to be the first with AI. And if you really want to know where nuclear is going, follow the money. Here's a chart of public nuclear companies. Their stock is rising across the board. That's a sign that nuclear power is making a comeback. But what about disasters like Chernobyl or Fukushima? Well, nuclear technology has advanced significantly. Today's reactors are designed to be meltdown proof. They use passive cooling mechanisms, inherently safe fuels like tritium or molten salt, low pressure systems, and automatic shutdowns. And what about nuclear waste? Well, before we talk about that, I think we should have some beer. Cheers. Let's keep it simple. The U.S. mainly uses regular nuclear power plants, but there's also something called nuclear recycling power plants. And as you can see from this chart, recycled nuclear waste has a half-life of 270 years compared to 130,000 years for traditional waste. That's a huge reduction. If the U.S. switched to recycling nuclear waste, we could power the country for 90 years just by reusing what we've already stored. France and Japan have been doing this for years. So why isn't the U.S. building recycling nuclear power plants? Because it's cheaper just to mine the uranium, process it, and use that in regular nuclear power plants. It's like recycling plastic or aluminum cans. Sometimes it's just easier and cheaper to make it from new ore. One more thing. Recycling nuclear waste produces plutonium, which is used for nuclear bombs. That means you don't want any company running these plants. The government would want to have strict oversight. And let's be honest, do we really trust corporations to self-regulate plutonium storage? That's a hard no from me. Cheers. Well, as you can see, my beer is almost empty, and that means we're at the end of the show. If you want to contact me, here's my email address. I hope you had a great time watching the show, and if you did, hit that like button. If you want to be notified of new shows, you want to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon next to it. Till then, keep your beer cold and your interest hot. Cheers.